Hello, my name is Janet Morrison. I'm a lawyer and land conservation professional with 20 years experience in the conservation field, including 15 years as Executive Director of North County Land Trust. I'd like to talk with you today about the Chapter 61 program. The Chapter 61 tax assessment program is used by many local landowners. They use it for two reasons. First, it substantially reduces property taxes, allowing them to keep their land open and undeveloped. And second, it can give property owners an incentive to ultimately conserve their land. How does Chapter 61 work? The legislature enacted Chapter 61 to encourage landowners to keep their land open and undeveloped. For this reason, it reduces local property taxes substantially, up to 95% for properties enrolled in Chapter 61 and 61A. The program requires annual enrollment at the local tax assessor's office for properties enrolled in Chapter 61A and 61B. I'll explain shortly how Chapter 61 works. That is an exception to the annual enrollment requirement. Before land can be developed, the municipality has a right of first refusal. What this means is that if you intend to convert your land from an open space use to a developed use, in other words, if you are going to convert it to a residential development or you're going to sell it to a builder, you first have to notify the town of your intentions, and if you're going to sell the land, the purchase price. The town then has the right to either match the purchase price or to have the land appraised if you're going to convert it yourself and offer you a fair price for the land. If you develop your land or part of your land, you'll be subject to rollback or conveyance taxes. In this way, the town recoups some of the benefits you've gained from the reduced taxation of your land. There are three parts of Chapter 61. Chapter 61 is for forested land, Chapter 61A is for farmland, and Chapter 61B is for recreation land. Chapter 61 requires that you have at least 10 acres in forested land and that you have a 10-year forestry plan approved by the state forester and prepared by a professional private forester. There is state grant funding available to help you pay for this plan. Unlike in previous versions of this law, there's no stumpage tax and there's no requirement that you have a timber harvest. You can have your land in Chapter 61 and never harvest the timber, if that's what you wish. If you do have a timber harvest, that harvest must be supervised by a professional private forester. Chapter 61A is for farmland. It requires that you have at least 5 acres in some type of commercial agriculture. That could be anything from a hayfield to an orchard to a Christmas tree farm. The second requirement is that you produce at least $500 worth of some agricultural product on the first 5 acres of land. For example, if you are the owner of a hayfield and you have your hay cut by a neighbor or farmer, and that farmer keeps the hay, you use this process to just keep your fields clear, you're still producing a valuable agricultural product. That's the value of the hay that's cut from your land. In addition, for any additional acre of land, you must be able to show that you produce $5 worth of value for each acre. Any agricultural buildings on your land, including barns and sheds, are taxed at the regular rate. Chapter 61B is for recreational land. This can be any type of land, from forest land to wetlands to fields or streams. You must have 5 acres to enroll, and you must re-enroll annually. Many people use this program because they prefer not to prepare a 10-year forestry plan. The tax benefits are not as substantial as for the other 2 programs. Generally, properties enrolled in Chapter 61B get a tax reduction of approximately 75%. The Chapter 61 program is an excellent program, but it's also somewhat complex. There are different requirements for each part, 61, 61A, and 61B. I would start by talking with your local tax assessor about enrolling in the program, but I'd also read the rules and some excellent publications available online. I've listed a few here. Mass Woods is a part of the University of Massachusetts at Amherst and does a lot of great work in the area of forestry. This publication, Understanding the Massachusetts Chapter 61 Program, goes into all 3 parts and explains it using tables that are easily understood. The other publication by Mount Grace Land Conservation Trust concentrates on the reform of Chapter 61, which took place in 2007. This resulted in some significant changes to the earlier law, and this publication lays out those changes in table format, again, which is easy to understand. Finally, I want to say that I hope you will strongly consider enrolling your property in Chapter 61 if you have not already done so. There are many benefits to the program, but there are also many misconceptions. I've talked to landowners who have never enrolled in the program because they were concerned about restrictions and rollback taxes, and they ultimately conserved their land. In that way, they lost thousands of dollars in taxes that they could have not paid. If you're only going to develop a part of your land, like taking a house lot out of a large parcel, you'll pay conveyance or rollback taxes only on that part of the land that you take out and develop. So it is a very beneficial program, and it allows landowners to keep their land open, to save taxes, and we hope ultimately to conserve their land. Thanks very much, and I'd be happy to talk with you about the Chapter 61 program if you'd like to contact me. My contact information is on the first slide.